to the Raw Success Podcast. My name is Stacey Morgan, and today I'm so thrilled to be joined by the gorgeous Kerrie Denton from Motivate to Conquer. Kerrie, thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Absolutely. So excited to be part of this.
Oh, great. I love talking to people, especially entrepreneurs, because I think whilst we share some really common challenges, we share really common stories, everybody's business journey is unique and everybody has a unique story about what led them to choosing this rather than just going to a 9 to 5 job and, clocking in and clocking out. Kerrie, tell us about your entrepreneurial journey. What led you to here, and talk to us about Motivate to Conquer and who it serves.
Okay, sure. Well, I had worked for nearly 30 years in the healthcare industry, government-funded, non-government service. I received my money from the health department, so I was pretty bogged down with the statistics and data of it all. And I have always worked in holistic healthcare, where I promote a lot of lifestyle practices, health education, things like that. And I was always extremely fit and healthy myself. And then one day my whole life just started to change. And within a couple of months, I was given a diagnosis that I was looking at a very limited lifespan, as I was suffering from severe hypertension. My organs were closing and shutting down. We couldn't control everything. I rejected every medication they tried to give me. And if we couldn't find the cause of it, I was definitely looking at a very limited lifespan. I saw what it's like to be on the other side, not the health professional, but the healthcare patient. My mental health just absolutely diminished. I had no self-confidence. I was scared all the time. I honestly was at my wit's end. And it came to me that if I didn't address my mental and my emotional health, there was no way I could possibly address my physical health. So I began to just concentrate on what is this positive energy that people are always talking about, what actually makes up positive energy. It's not just sitting back and thinking a thought and it's going to manifest itself. There's a lot more to that. So I became obsessed and consumed my life with working out how do you actually achieve. And then it's easy to achieve different goals, but how do you maintain and keep them? And one of the most powerful tools that I learned was affirmations. And I started writing down little affirmations that triggered an emotional response within myself. And I added this to visualizing it and the self-talk and the feeling and how mind and body connected with the spirit. And that eventually is what led me to having the strength to get up every day and try and seek the physical causes of my illness. And in the end, that I had a whole team I had a cardiologist, I had an allergist, I had a gastroenterologist, I had the whole team, and we worked it out, and I was able to move forward and get my health back to a certain point. Obviously, there's a lot of damage that won't ever change. But I thought, if I could unleash that inner fight within me at such a low point in life, I had a gift to give to others. I wrote this little book which contained my daily process and all the affirmations that I used. And I decided that I gave it away, then I self-published. It was picked up by the Hollywood red carpet gift bags for all the major awards in Hollywood, including the Oscars twice. And this little book took on a life of its own. And that inspired me to then open up my own online business as a women's empowerment coach. And self-empowerment comes from knowledge and self-exploration and raising self-awareness and wanting to evolve and continually grow. And I've never looked back. That became my passion and purpose. And I try and help women to discover their passion and purpose, and when needed, call upon that inner fighting spirit that helps you just get up every morning with an excitement to want to challenge yourself, want to better yourself. What is self-fulfillment and exactly what is happiness? Like, I learned a very different definition of what actually happiness meant. And it wasn't
Mm.
ticking off how big my bank account was, how much of a bonus I earned this year. It was none of that. It's the simple pleasures in life that give you so much enjoyment, like being with your children and being out in nature. And I just wanted to share all of my experience and years of professional training in healthcare with other women. And my business is thriving and I absolutely love it. And I think the secret to my business thriving is because it has come from my own personal experience. So I'm emotionally attached to my business, and that comes through to other women. Like, they're not just a client, they're not just a number. I want them to live their best life possible. And that's where my superpower comes in.
Absolutely. Kerrie, I love that you've taken this moment, which would have felt at the time like it was like the worst, as you said, your whole life changed, the worst day of your life. Like, you got this news that you were completely going down a path that was not what you had planned. I can imagine that would have been incredibly disheartening, and pulling yourself out of that by helping others and self-publishing and now being able to work with other individuals. What an incredible way to share your gift. Tell us, I need to know, what can you give us an example or two of some of these affirmations that you started saying as that you now, teach on to other people? Can you share some of your secret sauce?
Become your own hero. That's one of mine. Like, you are your own life's trainer and your own life's master. That became an affirmation.
Hmm.
Every day I'm getting better and better, stronger and stronger. And you visualize
Mm.
yourself getting better and better and stronger and stronger. There's 52 affirmations that are in my little book. But probably my most favorite of all is that I have so much motivation to conquer my life's challenges and my health. And
Oh,
that is why I called my business Motivation to Conquer, because
yeah,
that's pushed me every day. It just inspires a vision of how powerful you are. You're motivated to conquer. And when you conquer something, like, you're unstoppable. So
yeah.
that's like the name of my business inspires me every single day to be better and to keep on flourishing and conquering and thriving.
I
But
love that.
when it comes to affirmations, it needs to be something that you yourself can connect to. It's got to trigger an emotional response, and everybody's affirmation will be different. And I had many, but it was the Motivation to Conquer one that gave me the most power.
Mm. Even as you say it, I see your whole face light up. And so obviously you've been able to take that affirmation and take it to the next level by actually living it out and manifesting it and creating it in your own world. I love that. Talk
Thank
to
you.
us about what are some of the lessons that you've learned as in terms of your journey as an entrepreneur. Obviously, self-publishing is a whole beast on its own, but also building a business and all at the same time also struggling with your own health challenges. What are some of the best lessons you've learned as part of that journey?
Be extremely disciplined. You need to make a plan. You have got to break it down into small chunks that are achievable and realistic. The time planning is crucial because, like, I worked full time. Up until this year, I had worked 35 to 40 hours a week. So I only had nights and weekends. So you need to be very disciplined and prioritize a lot. As working in a non-government organisation, I had no idea what marketing was. I had no idea what social media was. I had to learn from the very beginning. I went to many workshops that were super affordable without then I didn't have the money to then enroll in their empire building courses after that. But if you learnt one or two things, you've already won. I went to many workshops. I joined a lot of Facebook women's business groups.
Hmm.
There I learned a lot of things about Facebook ads, Instagram. I have an amazing daughter who was very competent in Instagram. So she does all my Instagram for me. But I had to
Beautiful.
learn from scratch how to do Facebook ads. I didn't have thousands of dollars to employ a digital marketing agency. Again, the workshops, the Googling, the YouTube, join groups where women are so happy to say, try this and check in with me later. I just learnt so much from others. And I'm a very big supporter of women empowering other women and supporting other women. If I can give something like some little tips on how to lift yourself out of that stuck state, that's where I can give, and they can give part of their business expertise back. So I think because being an entrepreneur, especially when it's an online business, it can be very, very lonely. And if you get out there, go to workshops, go to the networking events, talk to each other on your Facebook groups, it can keep you inspired and motivated and learn at the same time. But the biggest difficulty, I'm sure, for many of us is there's no holy grail of what marketing is. I had a Facebook ad that I designed and created myself. A lot of YouTubing as to how to do it all. My daughter took the photo on her phone, and that one ad literally sold me 4,000-5,000 personal development toolkits. And that was just a little self-made ad I did myself. Now, the next ad brought no sales. So it's always a juggle on what works and what doesn't work. So it's accepting that it's not your service that you offer, and it's not your product that you offer. It's that holy grail of how do you get that hit ad that keeps on going year after year. And learning about digital marketing in itself is amazing, because everything is always changing. So you've got to accept that it is a long-term commitment when you're going to work for yourself, to always be willing to learn and try different things.
Yeah, such good advice. How disheartening for you. I'm so sorry that you put money into a Facebook ad and it went brilliantly and you thought, okay, well, we'll just do that again, and then nothing happened. I've been there myself too, and I'm sure everybody listening has had a very similar situation that they've been in, because it's just it's that magic, it's that secret sauce of getting everything, getting the algorithm to work in your favor and getting everything to all align at the same time. Thank you for sharing that, because you're exactly right. When we invest in ourselves and when we invest in that learning, yes, we get the education element, but also I think the community element of that is really important as well. And that's one thing that I'm really invested in growing in terms of Raw Success, this community of people that can support each other and lift each other up. I mean, the Raw Awards is a great way for us to celebrate business and celebrate what we do in business. But I also think there's a really there's a really great opportunity for us to be able to learn through education, whilst also connecting and building that community too. Talk to us about what your awards process has been like, why you find entering awards is an important part of your business strategy.
Well, the Raw Success Awards is the only awards I had ever entered. I won Woman of the Year New South Wales State Government Award a couple of years ago, but I was nominated by a local MP, so I didn't actually enter any of that, and I won. Yours was the first award that I had ever entered, and you came up in my Facebook feed. And normally I see these awards come up all the time and flick through, but something about, well, Raw, like the lion roars again, conquers, something just made me go onto your website and read about it. And I was like, oh my goodness, this does not only sound like a normal typical awards, it sounds more like a supporting and celebration kind of award. So I entered and I completed the process of self-nominating, and I found that I really enjoyed it, and it made me look into myself as to what I had been doing. And I recapped a lot of clients' testimonies and reviews over the past few years. So I had one just by even filling out the form, because I was celebrating it as I go, and feeling, what I do does matter. You know what? I have really, really added value to someone's life, and I was just loving it. And then when I received the email, the finalists had been announced, and I was reading down because I nominated for the best health and wellness, and went down to start cheering for these people. How would that feel? You're a finalist. And I saw Motivation to Conquer. I rang my daughter. I was like, oh my God, I've got to forward you this email. I can't believe it. And I could have won the lotto that day. I was that happy. And I couldn't wait for the awards night, and to have it in my own hometown. Well, I only had to drive 20 minutes down the road. And Sydney Harbour, I was born on Sydney Harbour in the Women's Hospital. So the whole thing was magical. Like, this is my place, the harbour, and the whole night was just magical. And it's also about supporting other women, and you know, there was men there. It was great, you know, all just enjoying ourselves for the one reason, to celebrate all of our businesses, no matter who won or who didn't. It was just wonderful. And I can't wait for next year, because I learnt a lot from my application, and I know how I can better answer a lot of the questions, because I was doing it more as a process of, as I said, celebrating myself as I went. I had no idea that I would be amongst other services of the same calibre, and it was just extraordinary.
I love that. And thank you for sharing your your reflection process too. I love that you said that you felt like a winner, even just from going through the testimonials and going through the questions, and really giving yourself the opportunity to pat yourself on the back for all of your hard work. And that's something that I just absolutely love about business awards. Some people don't enter because they feel like it's tooting their own horn, or they feel like it's like bragging about themselves. Whereas I just find it the most rewarding process to be able to reflect on what has happened, what I've done well, what I need to improve on, you know, where there's gaps, because often I will look at the question and go, I don't even know how to answer that question. And that just means that, okay, well, there is a gap in my business, or a gap in my systems, or a gap in my marketing that for the benefit of my business, I need to fill. And so when I then have the opportunity to be able to go and fill that gap, not only so I've got a better answer for next year's entry, but also so I've got a better, you know,
I've got a time frame now to work on what that question was about,
absolutely,
because you've brought awareness to another aspect of my business that I had not considered. And now
but it's going to benefit my customers. To work on it, to benefit the customer experience, and to benefit my team. It's just I always find it so rewarding. So thank you for reflecting on that.
Rewarding. No, thank you for bringing the Raw Success Awards to life.
It was certainly a good night. We had a really good time. Tell me, Kerrie, are you ready for your rapid fire questions?
Absolutely.
All righty. What advice would you give your younger self if you were just starting out in business? What does younger Kerrie need to know?
Trust myself a lot more. I'm more capable than what I ever gave myself credit for.
Excellent advice. What's your favorite app on your phone?
Google. Is Google even an app?
It absolutely is. It's a good answer. What's the last TV show you binged and loved?
Law and Order, SVU. I love it.
Classic.
Power to Olivia Benson.
Yeah, love it. And what are you most looking forward to in the future?
Moving up to the Gold Coast, enjoying a lot more free time. When I'm not rushed with everything creatively, I can work better. So putting a lot more of my free mind power into my business.
Yeah, beautiful. I just love that so much. Kerrie Denton from Motivation to Conquer, thank you so much for joining us on the Raw Success podcast.
Oh, it's been wonderful. Thank you, Stacey, and I look forward to next year.